when I was growing up, I grew up religious. My parents were really religious, and I knew when I was a kid, I knew very early that it was lame. And I grew up and I found out that I was right. Like reading Nietzsche or listening to synopsises of what he thought and other people. But mainly, what he pointed out was how most people's morality is really just weakness. And I find that still to be overwhelmingly true. And I feel like one of the most biggest problems with religion, specifically Western Christianity, is just how lame it's become. Lukewarm, bunch of fence sitters, goofy. And I think one of the most important changes is that religion isn't going anywhere. It's natural, it's necessary. Everyone's religious to some degree. I believe that. Even people who think they aren't religious are usually religiously non-religious or something. Even like the atheists are religious. And as they said in a System of a Down, faith is the most potent element of human existence. Everyone's religious. It's not going anywhere. But this whole notion of Christianity as just a religion of things that you just can't do. I'm just trying to be a goody two shoes, basically. Turn the other cheek and just be a weak, skinny, fat man. Lame. Religion needs to be life affirming. All of the good things about life, strength, working out, going to the gym, going for a run, being in a good relationship, a healthy romantic relationship, wonderful. All those things, good sex, being aimed towards the highest good, fulfilling potential, spending time with people, fellowship, building things, eating food, life affirming, religion that is life affirming, not the John MacArthur, we don't win down here. Life affirming, religion that is life affirming. Another change that I think needs to happen is men's rites of passage, rituals into manhood. You're starting to see this on Instagram or whatever, of like people marketing these programs, but people are doing it for money, and they're doing like this quasi elite special forces training stuff where they're doing like the psychological breakdown of identity through insults, which is the purpose of that is to destroy someone's identity so you can build them up into a machine, into a soldier. That's not going to happen over a weekend. B, you're it's moronic. Like paying dudes money to insult you. They're doing it. You can't do this for money. Like for this to be done right, it has to be done by men in your tribe that actually care about you, and their future is in part reliant on you becoming a worthwhile man. Like you can't pay money to have guys do it correctly because they ultimately are doing it for money, and maybe they like berating dudes. And yeah, like the insulting thing, it's like you can't. A, you're not making soldiers, and B, it what that's supposed to achieve. It can't happen in 3 days. It's moronic, but it's necessary. I think. Like I plan on having children. I'm recently married, and if I have a son, he's absolutely going through a men's rites of passage. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but it's definitely going to be dealing with the unknown, overcoming challenge. You know, this is getting to probably a legal gray area, and I don't want to get in trouble. But also, that's part of the problem. People are wimps. Dudes are wimps. And yeah, I mean, just much has been said about the idea that men and women are the same, the idea of equality, and how silly and counterproductive that idea is. And I don't know who said this, but woman just is, but men have to become. And I think that's very true. And the fact that we treat men and women the same is doesn't benefit anyone. So men's rites of passage, it definitely need to be brought back. And you can't be posting it on Instagram. You can't be paying some random dudes to do it. Another thing that I think is really important is pilgrimages. The pilgrimages should be brought back. These are all things that I've noticed lacking within myself, and I've incorporated myself. I've given myself a men's rite of passage. You know, to I did just kind of made it up. I was like doing something symbolic, something challenging, dealing with the unknown. And I was like, all right, I'm done being a kid. Like I want to be a man. I need more responsibility. I want to move on into the next stage of my life. Prolonged adolescence is a major problem in our culture. And then yeah, pilgrimages. I have always had a deep desire to travel, and I've gone all over the world, gone to 7 continents, like 30 countries or something, almost every single state. I've biked across the country, and I realized that was a pilgrimage. This desire to travel, and all this like Ironman extreme uh, physical challenges that people are doing now. Like, oh, I'm doing an Ironman in Antarctica. I ran a marathon in Antarctica. I'm swimming across the English Channel, whatever. Also, that people do. I think at the core of the driving motivation for these things, it's the same as what drives people to do pilgrimages. And pilgrimages they have existed in many different cultures throughout all over the world, and it's a way of like boxing these desires for travel and whatever, that we're seeing in our culture. Everyone just wants, so many people just want to travel. It's like the best thing. And um and what a pilgrimage is it's not the destination, it's the journey. Very much applies to the pilgrimage. It's about, because like you don't just get on a plane and fly somewhere and that's a pilgrimage. It's about you moving, walking yourself, doing the work yourself, and letting the travel, the trip affect you spiritually, inside, whatever you want to call it, and grow closer to God and develop more meaning, to find a deeper meaning, deeper understanding of yourself, deeper relationship with yourself, with God. Very quickly can get into a semantics or linguistic issue there. But yeah, I did a pilgrimage where I just had a desire to bike across the country. Didn't really understand it. Decided to do it because I was bored and I didn't want to fall back into like nihilism. And then once I decided to do it and then did it, I realized that it was a pilgrimage. It was what I needed to do, and it was good.